What's going on, guys? Dr. Ambitious back here once again. In this video I want to talk to you guys about how you can avoid drawdowns on your FTMO challenge or any other prop firms you're trading for. Usually there's an evaluation process before you get to the funding before you get to the funding process. So the evaluation process, there are lots of rules you have to follow, obviously, and one of the rules is not violating the daily drawdown and also not violating the maximum drawdown. So in this video I want to show you guys how you can actually avoid violating the daily drawdown and also the maximum drawdown. The number one rule, guys, is you've got to be allergic to drawdown to begin with. As a professional trader, your number one concern is account protection. You've got to focus on just protecting the account at all costs. So when you're in a drawdown, you can't, don't get too comfortable with that. You might want to reduce your risk and recover first, and then you go for the profit target. So first of all, let's talk about the maximum daily drawdown. So I'm going to use FTMO for example. FTMO has a daily drawdown of 5%. If you violate that 5% drawdown, you're disqualified. You will have to pay again to do the challenge one more time. So I've actually violated this once, and the reason I violated this was because of the daily closure and the turnover period. So when the market closes, there's usually a lot of gap in the market, and that can widen the spread and all that. And if you're close to the daily drawdown, you just end up you will end up violating it, and that's not FTMO's fault. So you want to keep that in mind. Don't let that be the reason why you fail this challenge. So let's talk about the real reason why some people might actually fail that daily drawdown is because maybe they're not paying attention or they're not disciplined enough. If you're taking this challenge, that daily drawdown should be the least of your worries, because you shouldn't violate that rule, because it's 5% is a lot, guys. You shouldn't be violating that rule. So what you want to do is give yourself your own maximum daily drawdown. The maximum daily drawdown is 5%, like I said. Maybe you want to give yourself 2.5%, saying, okay, if I ever lose 2.5% on any trade, or if I'm down 2.5% on any given day in regards to my unrealized or realized profit and loss, I will stop trading for that day and I'll wait for the next day to trade. If you give yourself this parameter, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to break the actual FTMO or funding talent, any other prop firm. So cut that daily drawdown in half and make that your own parameter. That will make it almost impossible for you to break that daily loss limit. Another way you can avoid breaking a daily drawdown limit is be careful of entering too many trades. If you're a day trader, for me, for instance, I try not to enter too many trades at a time. When I'm in a trade, when I'm in a trade and I'm looking to enter another trade, you have to be good in math, guys. Always calculate your exposed risk. No matter how many trades you have open, you must be aware of the worst case scenario. Always think of worst case scenario, no matter how confident you are. When you're in many trades, 2 trades, 1 trade, whatever, always think to yourself, okay, the worst case scenario here, if I'm to lose all these trades, if all of them is to go against me, hopefully you have a stop loss on every trade. The worst thing that can happen is me losing maybe 2.3%. All the trades come back. Okay, if you're okay with that, then leave your trades running. But if you don't even know the worst case scenario, then that's not good. You need to know the worst case scenario in any case, no matter what day it is. You need to know what can be a potential loss for that day. So always keep that in mind. Do your calculations before entering new trades. Sometimes you might have to break even on other trades before you enter new trades. If you already have, let's say, your own parameter set in place and you've exposed, let's say you gave yourself 2.5% daily drawdown. Let's say you give yourself 2.5% daily drawdown, and you already have a trade running and you've exposed 2.5%, and you see another good setup and you don't want to resist. Guys, you have to ignore that setup, or else you're gonna expose more positions. If you're already in profit on your first trade you can break even and then enter the new trade, or just find a way to minimize, maybe tighten your stop loss on the first trade and then enter the new trade. You've got to be disciplined with that parameter you've set for yourself. Sometimes you will break your rule sometimes, but whenever you break your rule, you're still gonna land safely because you've cut the parameter in half and you've given yourself enough grace room, to fail, to mess up on that daily drawdown you set for yourself. So I hope that helped you guys. Now I'm gonna move on to the maximum drawdown. For the maximum drawdown, what I did for myself was I also cut it in half, guys. They give us FTMO will give you a 10% maximum drawdown. So what I did was cut it in half. I told myself the maximum drawdown I'm willing to lose on any given time, that I'm willing to have or entertain is 5%, because I looked at all the challenges I failed in the past and I realized 99.9% of them, maybe 95%, I'm always violating that maximum drawdown. I've barely violated the daily drawdown. It's most of the time it's always the maximum drawdown, and I realized I get very emotional when I'm in a drawdown, and usually that if I let that get over me, only one thing can happen. Things can only go downwards from there. So now I gave myself 5%, and it really worked, guys. So if I'm approaching that 5% drawdown, I reduce my risk from 2.5 daily, from 2.5 daily drawdown. I'm gonna cut it to like $500. So that's 0.5 to 1% drawdown on any given day. So that was what I did to help me. So that was what I did to help me recover my my losses. So your main focus when you're in a drawdown is to recover the losses very slowly. Don't try to recover it very fast. I think we have enough time with this challenge, to be honest. If you're not trying to pass this challenge with the minimum given days that you have, and you focus on that 1 month, I think you shouldn't have a hard time passing it. Or else, unless maybe the profit target is your problem, then that's a story for another day. But if you're not rushing this challenge and you give yourself enough time, you probably will be able to recover your losses on time and maybe hit the profit target. Because the worst case scenario is you finishing your challenge with a break-even price, or maybe a little bit of profit. Then you get a repeat, which is nice. So you've got to be allergic to drawdown. Don't get too comfortable with drawdown, guys. Some people entertain drawdowns, and that just make them feel the old challenge. So when you're approaching a certain drawdown, just cut down your risk and build it back up, and then focus on hitting your profit target. So that's it for let me see if there's any other thing I did differently. Yes, if you feel that you are no longer in control consciously, you might want to take a day off, especially when you're in a drawdown and you feel like, oh boy, this thing is not working. Because there are some days that you will open the chart and you don't even understand what you're looking at. You don't understand. You can't even read it. It doesn't make sense to you. And those days are normal, guys. Trust me. Don't force it. When you open your chart and you can't even, it doesn't make sense to you, just close your laptop, close your phone, turn off your phone, do something else, guys. You guys have lives. You guys have other things. Your life does not revolve around trading. So try to take days off when you don't understand what's going on in the market. Trust me, the market will always come to you. It has been doing that for the past decades, and it will continue to do that. So there's some days you might want to take a day off, especially when you are not emotionally fit to trade. Because if you're in a drawdown and you're trying to trade when you're not emotionally stable, you're gonna enter more drawdowns. And there's a very high chance you will continue to trade on that same day, and then you will feel the challenge on that same day. That has happened to me many times, so I'm telling you guys this so that you can avoid it. And when you are in profit, guys, there's also such thing as a drawdown in profit. So I've had a privilege to reach 7% in one of my challenge, and from 7% I came back down to 2%. So that means I lost 5%. There's also a strategy for that. Make sure you don't bring that account back to break even. drop your daily risk and work your way back to recovering that 5%. Because if you're already in profit, you're in a good standing already. So if you're in good profit, I've had situations where I reach 9% profit, I only have 1% left, and I would drop down another 3%. So those situations are gonna exist. They happen many times. And what you want to keep in mind is your account is already in good standing, and you have to protect all the profit you have by reducing your risk and working your way back to the profit that you already made. And then after that, you hit the profit target. So learn to manage your trades, learn to manage your winning trades, manage your losing trades, and also just manage yourself as a trader. The most important thing as a trader is managing yourself, understanding yourself. Forget all the noises out there. Forget all the people passing it 1 day, 2 days. That doesn't matter. That's they're probably just gambling, or they just got lucky, because those things don't happen very frequently. It's very rare, and they just happen to be on the right side of the market, that time. So block out all the noise, understand yourself, meditate if you have to, and just focus on you, focus on what works for you. And I wish you the best. I'll see you in my next video.